Undertale. A game that brings much joy to people, even to this day. Even if it was released in 2015. And even though it got really cringy and really weird, and I mean, really weird. All fandoms kind of go through that thing. People are gonna ship weird things. People are gonna do some crazy shit. Conspiracy theories? Gaster theories. Guys, Sans is actually Steven Universe, and he died of cancer. Deltarune is Undertale 2. But people are also gonna make some amazing and spectacular and beautiful things, even if Undertale's already all of those things put together. There's fan art, AUs. One thing that Undertale is known for is alternate universes, and you should probably know that if you know about Undertale. Fan games, OSTs, plushies, cosplays, comics, and fan fictions, the list goes on. Even if the game is amazing, as I said. And it tells an amazing story with all 3 endings put together. I've seen a lot of videos about how amazing Undertale is and how the story, it has something to tell. And the music is some of the best music I think I've ever heard, and that also includes Deltarune. Some of the best music I've ever heard from a game or really anything. So just love jamming out to Undertale music. And Undertale's just been a part of my life personally for a long time. But one thing that's also been a huge part of my life is something else. As we talked about alternate universes or AUs, and we also talked about comics slightly. There's a slight chance that if you were a part of the Undertale fandom, you might have come across some Undertale dubs, comic dubs, whatever. There's a slight chance you might have come across a small comic called Handplates. Good evening. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, why are you dressed up as Mavis from Hotel Transylvania? To answer that is that I'm doing a cost test right now. If you don't know what a cost test is, look it up. You just Google it. Dear friends, today is October 1st. And that means we're gonna start talking about a spooky thing called Handplates. We are here to have a long discussion about an Undertale comic called Handplates. But to start off with this essay video retrospective, first we need to discuss the artist, Zarla. Zarla Shinaza. I probably have pronounced that last name wrong, so we're just gonna call her Zarla S, as she is the creator, artist, and writer of Handplates. Handplates of which can be read on many places, them being Deviant Art, Twitter or X, Comic Fury, Tumblr. Don't forget about Tumblr. What are some things about Zarla that we know of? I'm not going to get into too much of her personal information because, number 1, that's her information. Number 2, I don't really know a whole lot about Zarla personally. Zarla is a fan of many things, and she is an artist who draws many things. A couple of her main things are, Undertale and Deltarune, Johnny and the Homicidal Maniac. She has a ton of fan art and fanfictions about that. Zarla has drawn many comics throughout the years, the main one obviously being Handplates. But Zarla has also drawn other comics. Some people don't know that Zarla is also the creator of Six Bones, and is also the creator of Handplates Six Bones, Dust Jar, Mercy Plates, and Defragmentation. Can I speak? And Defragmentation, or other known as Defrag. It's a Deltarune comic and it's very good. So if you want to read something of Zarla's that's an ongoing, in-depth comic right now, read Defrag. It's interesting, seriously. It's a little bit shorter and not as drawn out, seriously, as Handplates, but seriously, still check it out. It's still... So without getting into too much detail about Handplates, Zarla follows the idea that Gaster, Dr. W.D. Gaster, a secret hidden character that you can only find with certain fun values and so on.
And so on and so forth.
Used to be able to only find him with hacking and changing file names in the game, which that's very important. We will talk about it later. Before watching this video, you should already know enough about Gaster. Today's not the day where I'm going to be discussing everything about this man, even though, like, we don't really even know if this man's name is actually Gaster. For all we know, this could be the everyman. We don't know. Zarla follows the idea that Gaster was this crazy, mad scientist with syringes and a lab coat. She didn't create the idea, but she definitely boosted the idea, especially the one of Sans Papyrus being created by Gaster in his lab. Other variations that, and other theories that people have of Gaster is that he's Sans and Papyrus's father, or he's their brother, or he's not even related to Sans and Papyrus at all. If you have never read a single bit about Handplates, or if you've heard about it, you've seen bits and pieces of it, and you want to get into it, here's some tips and notes about it if you want to get into it. Number 1, there is no swearing in Handplates. Zarla has drawn many things where there's lots of swearing. It's not like Zarla doesn't swear. In Handplates specifically, there is no real cursing. There might be hell or saying douchebag. However, I will say, if you're going onto Zarla's Tumblr, it does have warnings about her art having sexual themes, her art having swearing, so be warned, she does draw some inappropriate stuff. And I'm not saying that Zarla is an NSFW artist, because I wouldn't consider her as an NSFW artist, but I would say it's considered PG-13. However, if you were considering reading one of Zarla's fanfictions on Archives of Our Own, I would be a little careful, so just read at your own risk. As we were talking of Archives of Our Own, I would like to mention here, which I don't even know if I wrote it into my script or not. I recently learned and read of this fanfiction that Zarla has. It's Gaster having a conversation with Asgore. Yeah. If you are interested in Handplates fanfictions by Zarla, she has at least one of them on her Archive of Our Own, on her AO3. I would highly recommend check it out. The other things that aren't in Handplates, there isn't necessarily a whole lot of gore or any dark topics, which that's a lie. There are lots of dark topics in Handplates. And there are a couple episodes that I can think of. There is some dream sequences where there is a little bit of blood. Obviously, there's blood, but like I said, it's not a very gory comic.
Again, I thought humans all went to sleep at night. Asterisk. That's good enough. I'm running out of coffee back home. You humans should throw away organ.
If you'd like to know what that was, that is a Yukagaka, or a ghost, that you can download onto your computer for free. I don't really know a whole lot about these things. Zarla has mentioned many ways that, she has many tutorials on how you can download these. One thing I like about Gaster too, is the little ghost Gaster, is that, you can choose a pacifist or a genocide route with him. Basically, you can be mean to him and punch him and hit him all the time by double-clicking his face, or you can be nice to him and give him things. And, eventually, if you talk to him enough, and if you pry at it enough, you will eventually be able to have him talk about the brothers and you can have Sands of Papyrus also along with Gaster, and it's adorable. I love it.
Oh, little baby, I love you so much.
Next topic. Music. Now, if you were thinking about Handplates music, what is the first thing that comes up into your brain? Number 1, fan songs. Yes, there's a fan song. But I don't know if I would consider it a fan song, since I don't believe it was written by Zarla, but it was, part of it was done by Zarla, and it was posted by Zarla on her YouTube channel. There will be a link to this song in the description. It is called Unmasked. It is a very, very good song. It's a great song. It's the only Handplates fan song that I could find, and it's just, seriously, go check it out.
Go check it out right now.
Next is songs from the dubs. There's a couple of playlists that have all of the music that they used in the dub. I'll have a link to that in the description as well. Will there ever be a Handplates book? Is a question that a lot of people ask in the Handplates community. It's a question that Zarla has brought up a couple of times. And the answer to this question, sadly, most likely there will not be a Handplates physical copy book that you can hold in your hands. There probably won't be a book because of formatting issues, and there's just a couple of other things. And when searching through the sea of Undertale AUs and comics and fan fictions and fan art and cosplay and all this, there may be some Undertale comics that are kind of like Handplates. As I said, the idea of Gaster being a mad scientist that created Sands of Papyrus in a lab Handplates isn't the only comic that discusses that idea. The first one is The River's Warning. Now, I didn't finish it, let me just say that. I'm gonna admit, I didn't finish the entire comic. You should definitely go check out The River's Warning. It's a really good, it's a very interesting story, let me just say that. Specifically, this one, backstory scene that talks about Gaster and how when he was working in the lab and he was the real scientist, they had made several skeleton children out of his DNA. The other comic that kind of reminded me of Handplates is Insomnia, and again, not the whole thing reminds me of it, but bits and pieces of it. It is a story about Gaster and you know how Gaster was kind of a crazy scientist. So yeah, it is time to talk about dubbing. So if you came across Handplates, there is a high chance that you, like me, stumbled upon Handplates by a 1 hour long video by Starbot Dubs called Handplates, the movie, or also known as Handplates Season 1. A lot of people who watch this video tend to remember there being a Season 1 and a Season 2. Yeah, Starbot Dubs was the voice actors who, they also did a lot of Undertale stuff. I'm not sure what they do now. A lot of people in the Undertale community remember Starbot Dubs. Starbot Dubs is a very nostalgic channel for most, and one thing a lot of people don't know is that Handplates continued, and it continued, and it kept going, until eventually it reached an end. Most don't really know that it continued as far as it did because they only watched Season 1 and 2 from Starbot Dubs. Or, you know, maybe they watched the other channel. The person who voiced characters like Gaster, Sans, and a lot of other male characters, and a lot of the main characters really, he ended up eventually not working with Starbot Dubs anymore, and moved Handplates and his own stuff, his own dubbing stuff, onto his own channel. And at the time, his YouTube channel went by the name of Vade. However, now if you're trying to search him, it's going to be Callisto. So for the purpose of this story, we're going to be calling him Callisto. So as I was saying, he continued Handplates for Seasons 3 through 5. Yes, you heard me, Seasons 3 through 5. Now, at some point in all of this is when Vade's channel when he uploaded these 3 episodes of Handplates, somewhere around here is when Vade's channel changed to Callisto. But yeah, he did a live stream and I watched it. It was super fun. I believe it was an Undertale anniversary, because he was playing Undertale fan games and watching Undertale fan animations. And I point this specific live stream out because I remember watching it, and now it's not on his channel anymore. And any of his stuff he did with this Callisto character that he was making, I don't know what really happened, but all of these Callisto videos kind of just disappeared one day. The only thing that remains on his channel is all of his Undertale comics and whatever other big stuff he made, obviously. So we will actually end up talking more about Callisto later, because in recent live stream videos we have gotten a note or a hint of what's going on in Callisto's life. So just know that this isn't the end. The question is, what about the rest of Handplates? Did the rest of Handplates ever get dubbed? If Callisto never finished it, then who did? Well, at one point in all of this, Callisto had mentioned that one of his dear friends, Cello, was taking on this comic. Now, I had went to Cello's YouTube channel and searched, nothing. However, I found out that Cello is a voice actor that went and worked with another YouTube channel called Phoenix Prime, which is our next topic, our next person who took on the dubbing of Handplates. So Phoenix Prime has dubbed pretty much every single episode of Handplates, and yes, the dubbing was a little rough towards the beginning because, like I said, they dubbed everything. They dubbed from the very beginning to the end. You should definitely check out their channel now and watch some more, you should watch all of it. And a lot of people, you know, who were still continuing with Handplates ended up going to their channel, if they weren't already aware of Phoenix Prime. For this next section, this will be fun. Now, if you've heard of a YouTube channel called Quentin Reviews, and if you were willing to watch an 8-hour-long video about Sam and Cat, this section takes inspiration from his intermission called Things I Forgot. And also, if you like Quentin Reviews, I just want to say Quentin has been a huge inspiration for making this video specifically, making retrospective videos, and I in the future would like to make film reviews and all kinds of other reviews, and I'm just so inspired by Quentin. You know, even if his videos are lengthy and long, I love a long essay video, and I love just people talking about random things that they love. This section is going to be called Now, thing to note, number uno. The anniversary date of Handplates. Handplates anniversary. Now put this down in your notes, put this down in your marker, write this down, write it down. Are you writing it down? Jingle jingle, are you writing it down? Jingle jingle, are you writing it down? Write it down, write your notes, take notes. Take notes. November 26th. I think that's like the day before Thanksgiving. It's like right around there. And if you'd like to know how old Handplates really is, it is 8 years old. Yes, Handplates was released in 2015, which, side note, fun fact, that makes Handplates one of the earliest Undertale AU/comics. Thing to note number 2. When a lot of people first enter Handplates, or don't really know what Handplates is at all, a lot of people see this glitch, this white thing over Gaster's face. If you recall, in Undertale, near the end, spoiler warning, by the way, spoiler warning of Undertale. Near the ending of Undertale, all the main characters get their souls taken away, so it's like a lost soul face, like they have this glitch, like whiteness covering their face. And so yeah, that's basically all it is. It's a lost soul. It's somebody who has been forgotten. You're like, what does Gaster's face actually look like? You'll see it, and if you follow Zarla's art enough, you'll see that she does a lot of times draw Gaster without this goner face. It is a very important plot point that we will talk about way later on. One thing to note too is Zarla has actually drawn there's a couple of moments that Zarla has drawn what Gaster's face actually looked like in that moment. I actually enjoy this goner face, especially in the seasons that Gaster is in, the moments that Gaster is in. It's because it really, like, removes his character and removes his, like, in a good way, removes his emotion and his expressions because of the horrible things that Gaster ends up doing. Thing to note number 3. Now this doesn't really have anything to do with handplates, but I still wrote it down and I still want to mention it. A headcanon, I've been saying this word too much, of mine is that Papyrus is autistic. It is also it's a popular theory, headcanon, among the Undertale community as a whole. So it's not just me who thinks this. I did go out of my way to make a list of explanations. Number 1, hyper-focused on topics and things, and loves to do puzzles. Is a color cube, or a Rubik's Cube. Fun fact, the reason why I have a small Rubik's Cube collection, like I have a mini Rubik's Cube. I have a tiny Rubik's Cube collection because of handplates. Difficulty showing and controlling emotions. Number 3, copying words and phrases, or sounds. Number 4, taking things literally. Number 5, repeatedly doing tasks and doing patterns, cranky when thrown off schedule. Number 6, mind of a child and can be naive, loves to dress up. I also mentioned that he, like, has trouble reading, but, like, that's not really, like, an autistic trait. So if you know anything about Dr. Gaster's design, and if you've seen Gaster's face in handplates, or he has one eye that is closed, obviously, and he is permanently blind in one eye. If you'd like to know why Gaster is blind in one eye, well, guess what? You're never gonna know, because it's never explained. It's brought up many times, but Zarla even joked about it and has never seriously told us how Gaster is blind in one eye. Thing I forgot, number 5. Certain details are very important. Things like this. Things like Rubik's Cube will come up. Not everything is important, but, you know, I myself, I scavenge every episode and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the same mug that Gaster used 2 episodes ago. A lot of things tend to be foreshadowing though. Right now I'm watching Handplates with my boyfriend. We just finished season 4. And every time I see something I'm just like, remember that. Thing to note number 6. Gray comics. If you go to Zarla's Deviant, you'll see a lot of these. If you go to the Handplates folder, everything's in order there. There would just be certain moments that Zarla wanted to draw but not make a full-length episode about. And so she would normally tend to make these little, like, gray background. Most of these gray comics take place, like, canonically in the story, or moments of before the handplates were, you know, screwed on. So a lot of these are just cute and adorable, scenes of Papyrus being little kids. Sometimes they can be serious, but very rarely. Sometimes they might be a follow-up moment of something happening. Thing to note, number 7. Who wrote entry number 17? Some of them are kind of obvious, the darker yet darker. That one, that's entry number 17. That one is very obviously written by Gaster. We do know that Alphys wrote a couple of the other entries when we start talking about the amalgamates, because that was Alphys' doing and not Gaster's. Thing to note, number 8. Glowing. In-game, you see Sans glowing colors like blue. You see them glowing yellow sometimes too. But in handplates, this is brought up quite a bit. Glowing is very important to handplates. Zarla actually somewhere, she made a whole, like, formatted, like, list of what each color means. Like, I think pink is being embarrassed. I think yellow is fear. Obviously, Sans' main glowing color is blue, Papyrus' main glowing color is orange. You know, they have a default glowing color. And then Gaster's default glowing color is yellow. So, there's 2 other things that I want to note. However, I'm not going to be mentioning them now. I'm going to be bringing them up later when they will make more sense once we start discussing the Handplates story. That's all I'm filming for tonight. can't film anymore. Good night, Tri-State Area.
Good night, Tri-State Area.